Step into the light where the wild ones roam, where the heart speaks loud, calling this place home. We break the rules, we paint the sky, ridiculously you, we were born to fly. Ooh, it's ridiculously you.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Ridiculously You podcast. I'm your host, Julie May, and today's guest, let me tell you a little bit about him. Dallas Collis. He lost everything: his wife, his house, his business, his identity. He was a suicidal alcoholic at the edge of his life. He could have died, but instead he started over at age 60. Now he's the founder of The Story Mind. He is a 16-hour life coach. He's going to tell us a little bit more about that. He helps people peel away the layers, belief, identity, self-deception, stories. He's into stories. So if you've ever believed that it's too late and you want to have a fun conversation where we're going to buck up against some common belief systems, then you are going to really enjoy today's episode. Dallas, tell us a little bit more about you. I know you, I did a skim over the surface of these big life-changing things. What more do you want to tell us about that?
Kim, you made me sound like Superman.
I know. Apparently, you're pretty freaking cool.
Well, Julie, if we could, let's start with an agreement.
Let's go.
The agreement would be for you to agree with this statement. Every human being alive wants the same thing. They want to reach the same destination. We all want to be happy. Every parent who is asked about, what do you want for your children? And they'll all say, after astronaut or doctor or lawyer, I just want them to be healthy and happy. I believe every human being on this planet seeks that healthy, happy, quiet heart, a loving place to rest. That's all we want from life.
Yeah.
Can you agree?
I totally agree with that. Yes.
So why aren't we?
That's a good question. So why aren't we?
What's in the way?
What do you think?
Well, the roadblock is your story. The roadblock is my story. I meet you in real life. Hi, Mary, nice to meet you. Tell me something about yourself. You begin telling me a story about Julie. You're not telling me as a human being. You're telling me a story about the human being. Everything that's ever happened to us, we've ever experienced, every moment after birth, becomes a piece of a story that builds. And it's externalized into experience around us. The people, the things they say, what we're taught, school, possessions, everything is external experience. And every piece of that is a sentence, a paragraph, and then a page of our story. And we reach a certain age, we've got this book compiling. And we suddenly self-identify as the book, as the story. And we're preconditioned. You probably had a bedtime story read to you when you were tiny. We are conditioned to believe in story, that human beings are stories. But like every human being, our stories begin in some sense of trauma, fear, and insecurity. And that becomes a foundation block to the story we believe is us. And over time, we add to that. I was abused physically and psychologically. I came out of my childhood knowing I was not smart enough, not worthy enough, not good enough, didn't fit in. Something was wrong with me. That's a foundation of a story that I then call emotional baggage. I pick up those pieces and go, wow, this is me. And I put those pieces in a bag, I throw it over my shoulder, and I start walking in life. And we all do it. Now, some of us have a heavier bag, some have a lighter bag. Some of us learn to deal and manage our emotions, our feelings, and get through it. Some people don't. We're all on a spectrum of a mental health based on a story we all believe about ourselves. And our stories are sort of supported and proven by the world around us. Because all the people in the world make up what? A collective story. And so I coined this as the story mind. Because the thoughts in our head come from the past. They come from our history. They come from everything we learn. We are, in a sense, people of the past. Everything we know came from yesterday. Everything we are, self-identified as, the masks we wear, everything about us, our character, our preferences, our tastes, our likes, our dislikes, come from, we learn through experience from the past. Yesterday is who we are, living in this moment. We drag all that with us. So, I think like every single human being alive, we all reach the first addiction, the same addiction for every one of us. And I call that blame. Because we look at our story and the parts that upset us, the emotional baggage, we need reason for. And if it's a reality, we have to blame. So I blame my school for hurting me. I blame the church for hurting me. I blame Boy Scouts. I blame summer camp counselors. Some people go on and blame their children for problems, blame their wife, blame the boss, blame the government. I know people can blame a rainy day for a bad mood. And people can live their lives blame. This is addiction. Why do I call it addiction? Because it does the same thing alcohol does for the alcoholic, any drug does. It medicates and defends you from your own responsible reality. It pushes it out there. It's not me, it's them. They're bad, I'm good. I'm right, they're wrong. This is how the story deflects from yourself, and we call it an ego. That deceptive voice in my head telling me what's wrong, or why I'm better, why I'm worse, what might go wrong, what happened in the past. Always keeping us away from the one place we can live, right here, right now, where there is no past or future. But we have such a hard time grasping it. So I go back to my story, and the pain's getting too much. Blame isn't enough. I need alcohol. Alcohol is a great medication. I go with my friends. We have some drinks. I'm having a great time. Life is good. I don't feel any pain. Woohoo! Numb to reality. It's wonderful. And then there's a creeping problem over time because I get dependent on that medication because it keeps the pain away just for a moment in the beginning. That's the high, the sudden euphoria of, oh, life is wonderful. You know, drink 3 and it's perfect. Drink 6 and things are getting a little downhill. And so I added drugs because I needed a bigger boost. Then I met with a partner who was equally traumatized and in anger and unresponsible and blaming the world around her. And of course, this is a perfect fit. This is like 2 puzzle pieces. Oh, we're the same. We're in the same tribe. Falling in love is easy with someone who's exactly like you. There's no awareness or guidance to suggest it's good or bad. It's the same euphoria as the drug. And so there you are. We're together for 27 years. We have a house, cars, vacations, 2 beautiful children. I mean, from the outside, we're normal people. Under the roof of that house, of course, it's a horror story. It's a disaster. It's just, you know, everything dark you can imagine is going on all the time. That's a lot of pain and pressure. And I think this leads us to some disorder that happens in us. This pain and pressure building in the nervous system from this emotional baggage and pain we carry, and because we're blaming and keeping it away from our responsibility, The body fills with pressure. And it's the only place pressure can be released in our biology is through the body. Mm-hmm. So people eat to try and deflect the pressure. Then they get a disease trying to let the pressure out. I got a bout of depression. Now, for me, I now see depression not as an illness. It's a wake-up call. It's a defensive mechanism suppressing all the pain, all the feeling that's causing that pain, and saying, you need to wake up. You need to see that you're overpressurizing your entire life and it's going to blow. Somewhere it's going to escape. And so after a few weeks, depression went away. And I went, oh, that was so weird, because it's a terrible feeling. I mean, it is an empty black hole if you've ever experienced real depression.
Oh,
it is
for
a
sure.
sense,
I have. Mm-hmm.
It's a sense of nothing that is deeply disturbing. And I think it's because we are mechanisms of feeling. Everything about us is how we feel about the taste of something, the sound, the smell, the sight, the feeling. Everything is how it makes us feel. And depression suppresses feeling. So it's like, it's shocking. The brain doesn't understand. It freaks out like, what the hell? The world is gone. My life is, what is going on here? It's hard for anyone to articulate who hasn't experienced it because it's so empty. It's so empty, we don't have words really to describe it, which makes it such a horror. But now I believe it's actually a defensive system, a friend, trying to say, I'm putting all the brakes on. You need to open your eyes. You have brought yourself here. So, of course, I don't. Why would we do that? Why would we wake up? And so I finally get lucky. You know, the pressure has to be released. I got lucky. I wake up one morning and I've got cancer. This is the best day of my life, starting the best year of my life. And in exactly 12 months to the day, I go through surgery and treatment. My wife and I separate. I lose my house, my business, my family in any respect that you can see a family as being together. And a year to the day, I wind up alone, broken, alcoholic, and suicidal. Because my whole life is burned. It's burned to the ground. It's, you know, I see those pictures back in January from California. And you see these neighborhoods just black char. And right away I went, yeah, that's exactly how I saw my life. Like it was gone. Everything that I thought was me was right there. It was ruined, burned to the ground. So why live? And depression came to save me. Because when I was at the edge of feeling suicide, I had the exact same feeling inside as depression. This empty, worthless, nothing space. And instead of going, oh, I need to die, my brain jumped in and said, oh, this is depression. This isn't suicide. You've experienced this before. And that took me out of suicide. I got lucky. And the luck started raining down on me. I'm watching a podcast. I'm not really watching it. I'm cooking dinner. It's on in the background. Some man's talking about woo-woo consciousness and spirituality, mumbo jumbo. And so I'm not really listening, but I can, hear. He says one line, and I literally did what you see in a Hollywood movie. I mean, I dropped to the floor. I almost passed out. And all he said was, show me yesterday. My entire existence is in a story from yesterday. My belief in my story, my self-identified story of who I was, led me to the edge of suicide. How could that happen? Where are you? Where's the story? Where is yesterday? I couldn't go to a box, a filing cabinet, and pull the file of yesterday out and go, look at this, Julie. Here's yesterday. What do you think? It's not real. It's an ephemeral bit of smoke from a distant fire. You can't grasp it. We can only reimagine, and we call it remembering.
Mm-hmm.
We can only recreate it in our minds. So I was telling myself that I believed a completely imaginary story so deeply, it almost killed me. And I spent 3 months with this rolling around in my head. Show me yesterday. Now I realize, looking back, I was doing self-inquiry. I was trying to find where that person is. And then about 3 months later, I'm outside pulling weeds in a garden. And all of a sudden, I started laughing because the story began to dissolve. There is nothing to worry about. There's no fear. There's no insecurity. There's no trauma. There's no past. There's no regret. There's no anxiety about tomorrow because I'm just here. I am just here. And that realization was stunning. It just removed everything, all the baggage, everything dissolved. You know, I was traumatized 50 years ago. It's an event. It happened. I don't diminish the happening 50 years ago. But when it ended 50 years ago. It didn't happen anymore. The act ended. Yesterday is gone. So how did it get here? How could I be traumatized now from that? There's only one way. I put the meaning of the trauma, the feelings the meaning generated, into a bag and threw it over my shoulder and began walking. I brought it here. So why was I blaming someone 50 years ago? They don't even remember. They're not here. They didn't walk behind me with it the whole way. I did. So as soon as I went to that radical responsibility of, holy crap, my whole life is me right here. Nowhere else. There's nothing to blame. There's nothing to go toward or come from. I just am. That vanishes every problem we have in life. Because our problems can only exist in an imagined future or a remembered past. They don't exist in the present. No one has a problem right now. You may have a situation you have to deal with, but that's just a choice of dealing one way or another. Problems, troubles, fears, insecurities, regrets, anxieties all come from either the past, a memory, or the future, an imagined possible future. That's it. We're this incredibly simple, beautiful, loving, kind being living right here, right now. And the only reason we get mean or angry, upset, vindictive, fighting is because we're running around in the past and the future. In imagination. Everyone look at a brand new baby. The baby has just been laid on his mom's chest, wrapped in a warm blanket. Everyone looks down at that baby's face, and we all see the exact same thing. We see this beauty, this love, and this happiness. That's it. And I suggest we're not even seeing the baby. We're seeing our own heart reflected in the baby's face. We're seeing our true selves, our natural state. My mother died back in December. And just a few hours before she died, I looked into her face, and what do I see? The same as the baby's face. I see love, beauty, and happiness, not fear and everything. I see life. We only have the regret, the fear, the grief, the anger, the upset, because we attach to an idea from a story we believe. I drank for 15 years at the exact same pub every day after work. And I used to sit with one guy who was a friend, my drinking buddy, for years. He went off his way to drugs, the street, and homelessness. I went my way into cancer and my year of what I call life collapse. So maybe 8 months ago, I'm walking into a coffee shop and he's sitting in the corner reading a book like any other normal human being. And I'm just floored. I thought he'd be dead. Well, he looks at me and he recognizes me and he's floored. He thought I'd be dead. So, of course, I sit down, and for the lack of better language, we say, "What's your story? What happened? Tell me." And he says, "Well, I don't really remember a lot about the street because, the condition I'm in, it's just sort of a blur. But I began hearing a guy preaching about God and Jesus and blah, blah, blah. And he said some things that obviously triggered me, and I got involved and I began to believe it. And I got involved in the church and going to workshops and classes and reading the Bible. And next thing I know, Jesus saved me. I go, well, that's fantastic. But I know right away, Jesus didn't save you. God didn't save you. The belief in a better story saved him. He went from a story that was hellish and was killing him to a story that felt more like love and acceptance, a community and friends. His disorders vanished. His addiction went away. The power of believing. The human species throughout history is all about believing stories. If I'm the leader of your country and I can convince you that your neighbors are buying guns, your neighbors hate you, your neighbors want you dead, if I can convince you of that story, you'll join my army. You will ship off and go fight in a war to protect some idea of a story you believe. And we do it all the time. We've killed 100 million of our brothers and sisters in the last 100 years. Why? Because we've believed a story. And the collective story in this world, look at the politics today and all the people who are fearful, these crazy times. Look at any of the men in power. They're living in fear and insecurity. They're deeply unhappy. They want to be loved and accepted. And their ego is trying to control everything to make themselves feel big and strong. It's a story they believe that hurts themselves. It's stories we believe that hurt ourselves. And that's my story. Don't believe your story. A big thing in personal development today is, believe in yourself. Be strong, discipline, grind, work hard. I always say to people I work with, I go, don't believe in yourself. Because the self you're believing in is probably a story about you. So how is working and grinding harder at a story that doesn't support you going to make you better? You're believing in the wrong self. You're believing in the created self or who you think you are instead of your true self, the what you are. Little more than beauty, love, and happiness. That's what we are. Go for a walk in nature, and what do you see? Beauty, love, and happiness. That's all we are. That's all we need to do. That's our purpose. That's our meaning. That's our destination. So let's go there now. Leave the story. You don't need a story. You don't need a self-identification to a story. There is no reason for it. It traps us in a prison. It doesn't free us.
So do you think we should get rid of believing in all stories, or should we change our story to believe in something else? Because there's a lot of things culturally where stories have brought people together for years. If you look at caveman drawings and stuff, it was their idea of let's bring our stories to the next people and sitting around the campfire and telling stories. stories have been part of human existence for a really long time. If you look at like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, like that, like third rung up of connection with other people, a lot of times people connect through a story. So tell me some thoughts on that. Like, how can we get to a place of self, which I get you. Like, I like to just say I am. I have t-shirts that just say I am, because that's like the encompassing amount of who I am. It's just like I am. I'm here. I am. I exist. And there's not a lot more descripting words that aren't just story based, right? But what is the difference between like believing a story and having this communal thing where stories can bring people together?
Okay, we're going to get in the weeds a bit here.
I like the weeds.
Oh, good. Okay, thinking is from your brain. Thoughting is from your story. Are you a thoughter or a thinker? Do you have thinks or do you have thoughts? There's a distinction here, obviously, in our language, that they're not the same thing. And people say today, one of our problems is overthinking. I say there's no such thing. There's overthoughting. So what do I mean? Thinking is the actual toolbox of your brain. That is what you learn: speech, simple mathematics, simple science, skills and tools to live your life in the physical world. You know how to cook a meal, take care of yourself, take care of a child, pay for your house, you know. These are functions of the brain: creating, working, doing. Thoughts come to you from your story. Thoughts are, oh yeah, I remember, I didn't like that. Oh, where'd that come from? Thoughts are a voice in your head that doesn't support you. I dropped a mug of coffee and it smashed on the floor. And the voice in my head went, "You dummy, you always do that. What's wrong with you?" Those are from the thoughting story mind. When we began drawing pictures on the cave walls, the creation of story for the purpose of the thinking brain, to learn. This was the hunt. This is what we did. This is how we found the food. This is how we stayed away from the tiger. These are not stories in the respect of the story mind. These are teachings. This is actual information that we put and use in our brain. I suggest that our brains do not have memory. They have built-in storage of our skills. It is only the story mind that has memory. And that is the past. As soon as you've learned something, you learn to play tennis. And you get okay at it and you enjoy playing tennis. The next time you go to play tennis, you don't have to remember how to play. You just simply go to the app in your brain, like on your phone. And the app goes, "Oh yeah, I play tennis," and you play. Everything you do in the day, your normal work routine, you don't have to go to memory to do it. You don't go to memory, you go to activity of your brain. Memory is stuff that we store that is imagined. That's the past. That's the stories about me. That's the identification. What we call memory about learning is the actual hard activity of learning. And the brain stores it. And we can retrieve it in the brain any moment. But that's not remembering. It's there for us. This is why myself and my 5 siblings will get together. We all experienced the same event 20 years ago. We all went to a wedding. We all saw the same event. We all have completely different memories about the event. Why? If it was a simple part of our brain, we would know it. There it is. It's not. That's a part of the story mind of remembering. That is imagined. And each of us imagines a bit of a different scene. Each of us remembers different things. The brain, we all get it. 2 plus 2 is 4. We all agree. Nobody has to say, "Oh, I remember 2 plus 4 is different," because that's the brain. The story is the ephemeral, imagined, the theater, the drama, the trauma. All these parts are the theater. That is the deceptive ego in us. That is much more powerful than the brain. We don't live by knowledge. We live by belief in a story, and we back it up with knowledge when we try to justify it. Everyone thinks, well, human beings, it's all about our brain, blah, blah, blah. I don't think so. I think we are still that same imaginary creature. We use the hard physics, mathematics, chemistry, the working of our life, the physical attachment to back up our story, to keep it strong, because belief is our center, not the real physical world. This is why you sit down with friends and almost every conversation begins or becomes, oh, do you remember when blah, blah, blah? Oh, wasn't that funny when so-and-so did this? Our conversations are constantly about what happened in the past or about what might happen. You know, we're planning to go on a trip, blah, 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 and talk about the future. When you get together with people, it's so hard to be just you and I right here, right now. Why? Because the deceptive ego sees nothing happening. There's no drama between you and I. We're just being human beings. That's boring as hell to your deceptive ego. Your story mind wants drama. And so it's continuously pulling us there. And so those thoughts are not thinking. In fact, if you are in thinking mode, it means you are at attention. I'm cooking a meal, I have to be attentive. I'm chopping an onion. I don't want to cut my finger. I need these ingredients. I'm reading a recipe. I'm paying attention. Whenever you're in attention, it's impossible for the story mind to arise. It doesn't live until you're out of attention. You're sleepwalking, you're daydreaming, you're drifting into the past or the future, where all the trouble is. On our first day of grade 1, we were given the secret to life. Everyone was. You're sitting there in this classroom for the first time in your desk, and you're fidgety and excited and scared, and all the emotions rushing around in you. And the noise is just everywhere. And all of a sudden, this woman or man, grown up, walked to the front of the class, your new teacher, and the class goes silent. Or that teacher goes, more importantly, attention class, attention. What have they just done? Bring us to attention. Get out of our stories. Excitements, fears, insecurities are rushing around in our heads 1 second before we were brought to attention. Then the teacher does the second great secret to life. She or he says, Julie, and Julie says, present. Dallas, and Dallas says, present. So I've been brought to attention and I'm present. This is the mystics. This is the secret. This is consciousness being right here, right now. In grade 1, they told us. They didn't know they were telling us. We didn't know they were telling us because there's no story around that. The story's around Johnny isn't paying attention. He needs to be disciplined. Susie got an A. She needs a ribbon. All the story is the drama. It's a Netflix series. We know exactly what's going to happen in the next show, but we still tune in. The world's been crazy since it was the world. The news has been up and down in madness, and the economy is going this way, and some politician sounding like a nut. It's been going on forever. The same stuff. It is the drama of the story around us and keeping us away from here, right now. The thinking brain, rational, aware, in attention, working with intention. We spend most of our lives in habit and routine. Daydreaming. We don't even have to think about it. Julie ends a hard day at work. She drives home, walks into the house, slaps her keys down on the kitchen counter, and the sound of the keys hitting the kitchen counter wakes her up. And Julie goes, I don't even remember driving home. How is that possible? We've all done it. Just like a zombie in parts of our life, and we don't remember doing it. That's the story mind. That's the ephemeral. That's our ability to live in that imagined world. Routine, habit, it's just simple. So I get up and go to the fridge and I eat some garbage food because it makes me feel good for a moment. Because my brain's not turned on to say, hey, you shouldn't eat that. You need to make a better choice. That means being in attention. I put a sticky note on my TV when I started to rebuild my life. Sticky note says, get off your ass. It's the TV. The TV sees me and goes, you're not supposed to be sitting there all day. I put a sticker on the fridge. What are you going to put in your mouth? It's the fridge saying, you need to wake up. When we're awake, we can't daydream. We can't go into the past and the future because we're here. The great trick of life is to stay awake. Don't fall asleep in your story.
So getting out of story is one of those things that I'm like, I get it when you're in a calm and rational brain. What about those people that are like, they have, they're in that trigger trauma cycle. The flip has switched, and all of a sudden they have a flood of chemicals going through their body that make them feel like I'm angry, I'm sad, I'm whatever. A lot of it is a chemical reaction happening in their body, but they don't know that. What they know is right now, I am raging mad, and everything feels very, very real to them in that moment. What would be the one thing that you would tell them to get out of that?
There isn't one thing. That's impossible. Because even the imagined is real. If you have a traumatic feeling, it can express itself in the body. My breath is going, my heart is pounding. Don't tell me it's not real. I can feel it. Right? So there's no sense of just saying it's not real. It's understanding the reality of what you believe is real. And that takes work. We have 100 years of psychology. And for me, all of psychology is about coping mechanisms. That's all it has offered in 100 years. We have more people today in talk therapy than ever before in history. More people on psychoactive therapeutic drugs than ever before in history. More diagnoses of disorders than ever before in history. 100 years of great minds trying to help people. We are a mess today. And what we're being helped with is coping skills, meditation, breathing exercises, exercise, go for a walk, all sorts of things to cope, manage our emotional destabilized feelings. So what are we doing? This brings me to my next controversial theory. There's no such thing as healing. You can't heal because all disorder, dysfunction, disbelief, and pain and trauma is from the past. You can't go back in time. So how could you heal it? Second, if trauma was a cut and it was an open wound and you're bleeding, it can be healed. Show me it. It doesn't exist. It is an imagined ephemeral thing that we have attached to such heavy meaning within ourselves that we feel the heart pounding, the breath short, the pain in my legs, whatever it is. It gets expressed as disease and dysfunction. People can fear themselves to death. They do it every day. Suicide is fearing yourself to death. So you can't just give someone one thing. You have to build the blocks of reality. 75% of your life you can't remember right now. Yet you put so much strength in a memory that it is the trauma you know is real. But 75% of your memories you can't remember. Why? If they were so important and powerful, why wouldn't we remember 100%? Why wouldn't you know what you ate in 2005 for breakfast on a Tuesday morning? It happened. It was real. So why wouldn't you remember it? Our brains aren't built to do that. It is the story we believe and the deceptive ego that keeps pointing to it and says, this is powerful. This takes this person's attention. So I will keep bringing up this memory. And if I sit down and watch my memory over and over again, it becomes me. I identify as it. I take ownership. I caress it. I love it. It is me. Even the worst things, the traumas, the abuse, the upset, becomes me. So how could you tell me it's not me? This is the entanglement. This is the problem. But we have a structure within the story. Psychology is in the story. You cannot fix the story from within the story. Mm-hmm. This is what awakening and enlightenment is about, is suddenly realizing it was all a story. And I can walk away into the sunshine and go, there's no problem. We can decide to feel any way we can imagine at any moment. We all have that ability. We all do it. Everyone in the worst pain and suffering, and I've worked with lots of people in trauma, even they will have days where they feel good. They have moments where they feel clear and happy. Well, if that can happen, that's the evidence that it exists. You have to put that up against your evidence of your trauma, of what you're carrying, the pain you're holding on to. And understand, we create ourselves. We are the creators.
Absolutely.
You know, if you believe in religion or the Bible, there's some fabulous lines in the Bible that give away all this. But all of Christianity denies, and don't look at it. Don't look at the truth. Oh, no. Stick with these stories over here that are dramatic. One of those lines, the disciples come to Jesus. And they say, how do we live our best life? How do we rise to your level? How do we function as great people? You know? Jesus doesn't say, well, you got to set some big goals. You got to put in some discipline, hard work, buy a nice house, get a hot chick, and maybe a Lambo in the driveway. Nope, Jesus didn't say that. He said, and he gave away the whole secret. You are the light of the world. You are the creator. You are the one. We all are. Julie May is the most important human being on planet Earth. There is no doubt in that statement. How could you say that, Dallas? That sounds selfish. Why would I think I'm the most important person? Because if you weren't here, there wouldn't be a world. If you weren't here, there wouldn't be love, beauty, and happiness. You are that. And so are the 8 billion other people. We're 8 billion chefs, all cooking the exact same dish of love, beauty, and happiness. But every dish that everyone cooks comes out tasting a little different, looking a little different, smelling a little different. But it's all the same. And what do we do in the story? We focus on the difference. Oh, your dish isn't as good. Mine's better. Oh, you're not a very good cook. I'm better. This is the deceptive ego that takes what we really are and smashes it on the rocks of this identity politics and identity self and the masks and who we are, not what we are. All the same chef cooking the same dish of love and happiness. Deluded by this story, caught up in the storm.
Love that. Okay, so we're going to get into quick lightning round, and I want you to give just the shortest, quickest answers you can on the following things. Okay.
Uh-oh.
First one, what does joy feel like in your body? When you're feeling joy, what does it feel like in your body?
Nothing.
Nothing. Okay. You don't want to say anything more about that?
Sure, I can say a lot about it.
Okay, give me one more sentence about it.
We are all thing identified. Something, someone, some possession, some achievement, a thing. That's how we identify our life. That's how we move around. When you are no thing, You're everything. There's nothing to go to. There's nothing to become. You already are. That's joy. You're here. You won.
What's your favorite thing to do? Like your idea of having a fun night looks like what?
Fun night?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh boy. A movie. We love stories.
We do love stories.
I'm no different.
What's your favorite movie today,
Ooh.
as of right now? Because mine changes
right
like
now.
all the time. Yeah.
Wizard of Oz. Always has been.
Ooh, that one's a classic. So good.
First movie I ever saw. You know.
Love it. Okay, I love like how people decorate their homes. Can you tell me about one of the pictures behind you?
That's just some of my artwork. Sometimes
Pick one and tell me more about it.
Well, this one right behind me, I painted right about the time of my life collapsing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you can see it's like a storm, an explosion, a firework.
Yeah, you can feel that energy in it.
I've never painted or done any art with design, with deciding in advance. It just happens, right? I think all art, all real creativity just pours out of us. And for me, I don't plan to. I just suddenly wake up one morning and I've got an urge to paint or draw or do something. And it happens.
What do you think it is about creating that makes us feel something different, that makes us like more human?
We are creation.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we are. We are creative beings. We are a life force, a universal conscious creation. And that's our place. And I think people get that confusion of my life's purpose. I have to create something to be good. No, you are the artwork. You are the creation. You just express it in any way that it comes out of you.
I agree. I think creation is like the whole point. Like that is who we are. That is like the godhood within us. Like creation is the gig. That's it. And so I love that. Okay. I want you to tell us one more thing. If somebody out there we're going to go back to that kind of depression point. If somebody out there is in that depression point, which I do, I relate so well on this. It's kind of a gift scenario. I also call pain and overweight and a lot of those things a gift because it alerts us that something is out of alignment with us, right?
Right.
So the gift of being able to see that something's out of alignment with yourself, it's kind of a wake-up call. What one thing would you tell them? And I know I'm like, you're like, I can't just tell them one thing. And I'm like, yeah, you get 3 minutes with them. They're in that place. What do you tell them?
And blame. The first step is responsibility. And that means ending blame. Stop looking outside at the world. That's it.
Yeah.
It's the hardest step by far. But you can't go anywhere if you can't take responsibility for yourself and end the blame of everyone else.
Absolutely.
It's like nothing happens until you can cross that line.
It's taking back that control of ourselves, our situation. It's coming back to self and going, I have right here, right now, I have me, I am, and this is what I can do.
I hate the word control. I hate the word control.
Yeah.
Because the reason you're in blame and not responsible, that's because you're trying to control something that is not controllable. Letting go, releasing, unattaching, that's giving up control so that you can be that beautiful creator.
See, I see the word differently. I see the word as the actions we choose to do.
Right.
That's what I am in stewardship of, is the actions I choose to do. It's the only thing I have actually is right here, right now. And the actions I choose to do within that moment. That's all there basically is in my current reality, is those things. And when we can kind of come back to center and go, this is what I have. This is my stewardship right here.
Yeah.
That's That's what it is, right?
That's all you're ever going to have.
That's all we ever get. But what a beautiful gift too. Like,
oh, that is what everything is.
It's exactly it. Okay, Dallas, it has been a beautiful gift to have you here with us. Can you tell everyone where to connect with you more? Where can they find out more about you?
DallasCollis@gmail.com. Talk. I don't make it, life isn't complicated. Number one, if you have my name, I can't hide. You're going to find me online.
Yep.
So I don't, whatever. All we got to do is talk to each other. This is the beauty of what you do.
Yeah.
It's just getting people to talk and open up and share real life with each other. Because if one person listens to this and goes, wow, maybe I should take a look at myself. Maybe I should think about my memories. Any little tidbit that comes up can be an opening for someone. And that's the beauty of what you share online. That's why your job is so great to do this.
It is the greatest thing I've ever done, is to just get out and be real and share just like my life, my stories, my essence with the world. And I think it's the same for everyone else. And
Yep.
I know you're like, but stories. And I'm like, yeah, when I share, and I think you would agree with this, when I share, this is who I am, and these are the things that I'm experiencing right now from a lens of this is just what I'm experiencing, and be real
Yep.
with other people, then it allows other people to go, okay, I'm going to be okay too. And we can get through this. And there's like a communal aspect of that. And I think additionally, when you let your light shine, Dallas, when you go, look, I'm going to show up, I'm going to be present, I'm going to be me, I'm going to be unapologetic, I'm going to share some things that are going to be controversial. It allows other people to go, oh, maybe I could do that too. Maybe It's safe for me to do that too.
Yeah.
And I love that. So thank you for coming on here. This has been the Ridiculously You podcast. I'm your host, Julie May. We've had Dallas Collis on here today, and thank you so much. And we will see you guys next time.
Share the spark, take it higher. Hit subscribe, bring a friend. Let the wildness never end.